Hello, and welcome to the Dairy News and Views podcast, a production of the Iowa State University Extension and Outreach Dairy Team. Our podcast covers current educational, research, and industry tools available to produce the highest quality dairy products efficiently and effectively. Thanks for joining us today on Dairy News and Views from the ISU Dairy Team. I'm Jenn Bentley, Northeast Iowa Dairy Field Specialist. I'm here today with Fred Hall, Northwest Iowa Dairy Field Specialist, as we chat about today's topic, June Dairy Month. How are you today, Fred?
Man, I'm doing well. I just finished up a bowl of vanilla ice cream with rhubarb sauce. Life's good.
We are joined today by Iowa's Dairy Center's Coordinator, Mariah Busta, and Western Iowa Dairy Alliance Coordinator, Brandi Hansen, as they play an important role in educating others about the Iowa's dairy industry and the role that dairy products play in our daily diets. So we want to welcome Mariah and Brandi to our show.
Thanks for having us.
So Mariah and Brandi, we know that June Dairy Month is a very important month for our dairy industry. You know, we use it to promote our dairy products, our dairy producers, and what we do every day. So can you first both describe what you do in your roles within your organizations?
All right, sure. So I'm the coordinator for the Northeast Iowa Dairy and Agriculture Foundation, where we operate Iowa's Dairy Center, which is a 200-cow dairy located near Kelmer. So we strive to provide education for producers and students with our partnerships with Iowa State and NICC, but then we also focus quite a bit on consumer education. So we'll have about 10,000 visitors annually to Iowa's Dairy Center. So my role focuses heavily on providing opportunities for education and outreach for dairy producers, students, and consumers.
I'm Brandi from the Western Iowa Dairy Alliance, also known as WIDA. WIDA has 3 priority areas that I focus on. The first is public and community relations. Part of that is participating in different events. We participate in like a dairy product donation program that we hold for local events and organizations where we'll donate dairy products to them for their events to serve consumers. And we also are just involved in several, we try to get involved in like home shows and expositions. We also have a component. So the second component is advocacy and issue management. With that, we start like with COVID-19, we actually started conversations regarding retail milk limit and supply chain constraints. Just kind of raised awareness with that on social media. We send letters to our legislators regarding our stance on support on certain bills and advocacy for dairy. And we've also sent some members to Des Moines or Washington, D.C. to lobby for issues. And then our third component is information exchange and leadership development, which is very similar to Mariah's. We participate in different activities like with the Extension Office, doing STEM Fest, and we've donated books to local libraries to educate our youth about dairy and just various other activities like that.
Both of you play an important role on, both parts of our states with Northeast Iowa and Western Iowa, where most of our dairy farms are located, but people just keep getting further and further removed from actually being on a dairy farm. So it helps to have both of you on both sides to, still educate people about the dairy operations. And so Fred, what do you think? Why don't you talk about Iowa's dairy industry for a bit and maybe talk about what that looks like in terms of our farms, our herd size, what our milk production is for the state, and where do we stand with, in comparison with other states?
We have about 975 dairies in Iowa, plus just over 200 dairy goat dairies and 1 sheep dairy. Each month, we produce about 450 million pounds from about 219,000 cows. We are the number 12th in the nation in production among the states. And while COVID sent milk prices down by nearly 40%, prices are coming back. I want to mention, since many consumers saw empty shelves or limits on how many gallons they could purchase just a few weeks ago, I want to confirm that there never was a milk shortage. The cows kept being milked every day. There was, however, a logistics and processing issue because of the COVID.
Yeah, Fred, that's interesting to note. I think I got a lot of calls or questions just from family or friends, not involved in the dairy industry when they went to the grocery store and didn't find their gallons of milk to purchase. So we know that, the dairy industry does play a vital role to our state. I think the last statistic that I saw for Iowa's dairy industry, we create over 23,000 jobs. So just about every 100 cows, we have about 10 jobs. So I think that's pretty significant when we talk about economic impact to our state. And if you talk about that on a per cow level, that's almost $25,000 per cow. So, cows are pretty important to our local economies, our businesses, keeping schools and churches and our grocery stores all open. So just one cow makes a huge impact to our state.
Yeah, we need to really understand that economic impact isn't just the dollars of milk that cow sold. It's the jobs that they created. It's the purchases that dairies make. It's the product that's processed in the area and sold to consumers. So it's a real economic driver in the state. Mariah and Brandi, Iowa has several dairy processing facilities. How many pounds of milk does it take to make a pound of our favorite dairy product?
Yeah, so I have some pretty neat facts here. It takes 21.8 pounds of whole milk to produce 1 pound of butter. To produce 1 pound of cheese, it'll take 9.8 pounds of whole milk. This is my favorite here. 1 gallon of ice cream takes 12 pounds of milk. And then for yogurt, 1 pound of yogurt takes 1 pound of milk. So pretty crazy how much milk it takes to produce dairy products.
I have some great stats on consumption in the United States, and these are annual consumption statistics. About 17 gallons of milk are drank per year per person. 15.4 pounds of American cheese is consumed per person. 22.5 pounds of all other cheeses are consumed. 5.8 pounds of butter per person, which I'm fairly certain I bring that average up a little. And 13.4 pounds of yogurt per year and 11.8 pounds of ice cream per year per person.
I think that I probably boost that all other cheeses just with the cheese on top of my homemade pizzas. What trends and perceptions are you noticing with consumers of dairy, and what are some of the ways you're educating them with Iowa Dairy Story?
Yeah, so I would say that people have been consuming more of the products, maybe like cheese, yogurt, especially Greek yogurt seems to be one of the more popular ones. Like fluid milk consumption has been down. Overall consumption of dairy products has been up over the years just because of those other dairy products. I mean, I think about how much cheese I put on my pizza too, Fred. So I definitely upped that average for the rest of America. But overall, consumption has been up, which is great. But I would say a trend as far as like what consumers want to know is where their food comes from. And I know we mentioned it earlier, I believe, less than 2% of the population has grown up on a farm. And so we have the other 98% of consumers that want to know where their food comes from. So they want to know that their milk and dairy products are produced in a sustainable way. They want to know that, or they want to have that trust in the farmer that is producing those, and that they're treating their animals right, and that they're producing the products in a safe, secure manner. Taking the role of social media and getting out there is a great way that we educate people about Iowa's dairy industry. People love authentic, raw, real, relatable content on social media. So anybody that has the opportunity to use social media to their advantage to share that story, share pictures, share videos, share real things about what's happening on the dairy farm will help give consumers that sort of reassurance that they want, and that trust, and build that trust that they need to know that their food and dairy products are produced sustainably and securely.
I strongly relate to Mariah there. I know we have been working really hard with WIDA to try to demonstrate and tell a really great story for our farmers and our dairymen in our area. And through doing that, we're trying to produce some more video and more raw information for our consumers so they can get a better understanding of our milk and the true story of dairy, and that they see our dairymen providing cow comfort and that they're truly stewards of the land. And we think that that's very essential in our industry.
Brandi, we just had an exciting event here at WIDA. Tell us about this new announcement.
This week, we have decided to adopt a dairy cow with WIDA. The goal with this program is for us to take live video footage and basically document the lifespan of this calf. Our calf was born on June 10th. Started documenting this calf's life as of June 11th. We're excited and we'll be following this calf and cow through its milestones. We hope to get its first day that it's milking, maybe through its first pregnancy. Hopefully our consumer and followers can experience it with us.
Well, Brandi, that sounds like you're doing some really creative things during June Dairy Month. And I know, typically we're involved with open houses during the month of June, so we can actually invite the public out to farms to learn more about dairy. But during this COVID-19 pandemic, we're realizing, we can't be inviting people to farms right now, but we're still looking for ways that we can help consumers understand where their food is coming from and still enjoy some delicious dairy products. So maybe, Mariah, can you also tell us some other things that you're doing for June Dairy Month, since we can't have a breakfast on the farm this year?
Due to COVID-19, it's been a really challenging year for us, just as far as the way we operate on an education perspective with the Dairy Center. So typically June is one of our busiest months as far as tourism, families coming, different like daycares visiting us. And so with having our farm closed to tourism currently, we've been looking and exploring different options to get out there and still reach our consumers. So one of the things we've been doing has been virtual tours, which have been really fun to connect with our consumers in schools still through Zoom. So I've been doing quite a few of those, which have been really fun. Since we had to, as Jen mentioned, since we had to cancel breakfast on the farm, we've had to explore different options too, as far as what can we still do as an event to celebrate National Dairy Month. So typically breakfast on the farm has about 1,600 people. So we knew that with social distancing guidelines and everything, we just couldn't make that happen. We have decided to put together a dairy drive-through and scavenger hunt event that we will be hosting on Saturday, June 27th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Iowa's Dairy Center. So this will be a really fun event for us. So anybody in the public is welcome to attend. And so what will happen is when you arrive at the Dairy Center, you'll be given a scavenger hunt card and a map of the Dairy Center. You'll drive in a set route, and you'll drive past some of the highlights of our farm. So you'll drive past our beef barn where you'll see our steers. You'll drive past our calf barn, commodity bay, and bunkers and see where the feed is stored. But then actually, people will be able to drive straight through our maternity barn and our freestall barn, which I double checked with insurance and to make sure it wouldn't be a liability, and we're good there. So that'll be really fun to still give people the opportunity to come to the Dairy Center and see cows, because people just love seeing cows. And so by driving their cars around the farm in that set route, they'll be able to see what they would normally see on a tram route on our guided tram tours at breakfast on the farm. So at the end of the event, once they go through the farm, drive through the farm and find the things on the scavenger hunt, whether it's looking for cows or like cow brushes, maybe our feed pusher, things like that. Once they complete that, they will be able to, at the end, be served a Moo-Mobile milkshake provided by the Winnebago County Dairy Promoters. So we're still able to get people to our farm. It's just they can't leave their cars, but they still get to enjoy seeing cows and enjoy a wholesome dairy product. So really looking forward to that. So if you want to know more about that, you can find more information on our Facebook page, the Northeast Iowa Dairy Foundation.
Western Iowa Dairy Alliance is also, we have canceled our June Dairy Month open house this year with Perry Creek Dairy. So we have, along with the Adopt a Calf activity, we've taken to social media quite a bit more than usual anyways. We have decided to do like Tasty Tuesdays, where I have been making dairy products on our Facebook page. We've tried some Facebook Lives, but the next couple We're doing cheese and yogurt, and they're a little bit more time consuming. So I'll be posting a video with a recipe on our Facebook page that way. We've also decided to do a little bit more, or take on our dairy product donation program a little differently. This would include, we have donated to our member farm employees. So we donated a couple pounds of butter and 1 pound of cheese to each of our farm employees, which was about 527 employees. So that was a fun activity that kind of kicked off June Dairy Month and been kind of exciting for us. And then we're hoping to host some ice cream socials as well. We're not quite certain how those will look yet, but we're hoping to be able to meet some social distancing guidelines while also giving out tasty cold treats for people to enjoy this June. Those are just a few of the things that we've done instead of our open house this month.
Well, those all sound great, Brandi and Mariah. And, Brandi, you were talking about ice cream socials, and I think all of us on this call here today can say that we like ice cream. And maybe to kind of conclude here today, we can go around and share what our favorite ice cream is. So I'm going to start with Fred. What might be your favorite ice cream?
Well, with my empty bowl in front of me, it's hard to beat vanilla ice cream with a good topping like rhubarb sauce.
I'll go next. And I have to do a little promotion here for Stensland Dairy. They have a delicious flavor called Lick the Spoon, and they're located in Larchwood, Iowa, and it's delicious. It's more of like a cake batter flavor ice cream.
I think I might have to go out and try that new flavor from Stensland.
Ooh, I would have to agree. Cake batter ice cream is one of my favorites, but otherwise anything just chocolate. The more chocolate you can put in ice cream, like chocolate base with candies and everything. Oh yeah, that's my jam there.
And I would have to agree with all of your ice cream flavors. My favorite is probably something with peanut butter and chocolate, but I can't go wrong with just about any flavor. So I'm not too picky when it comes to ice cream. I want to thank Mariah and Brandi for both being here on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Fred.
We really appreciate the work that you do to promote our dairy industry during June Dairy Month and all the other months throughout the year. I think it's also important that we say thanks to our Iowa dairy producers because without their hard work, 365 days a year, we wouldn't have this opportunity today to be here talking about the economic impact that they bring to Iowa and what delicious dairy products that we have that we've been talking about here today. So thanks for joining us today, and look forward to visiting with you on the next Dairy News and Views from ISU. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. For the full non-discrimination statement or combination inquiries, go to www.extension.iastate.edu/diversity/EXT.